What's up, everybody? Welcome to Average Joe's Whiskey, and today we are going to be reviewing one of the more underrated bottles of bourbon that is regularly available in most markets, and that is Bowman Brothers Small Batch. Now, this bottle gets overlooked a lot, I think. All of the bourbon from the A. Smith Bowman Distillery begins its life at Buffalo Trace, and that is its main claim to fame. So Buffalo Trace mashes, ferments, distills, and then ships a proprietary mash bill to the Bowman Brothers Distillery, or the A. Smith Bowman Distillery, in Fredericksburg, Virginia, right down the street from me. The mash bill is not disclosed. There are a lot of rumors out there that this is Buffalo Trace mash bill number 1 or mash bill number 2. According to master distiller Brian Pruitt, it is a proprietary mash bill, so it doesn't match Buffalo Trace mash bill number 1 or 2. Let's get into it. So the John J. Bowman single barrel gets a lot of attention as like a great replacement to a lot of the harder to find Buffalo Trace products, like your Blanton's and your Eagle Rare, and that is absolutely true. But this Bowman Brothers Small Batch is about half the price. I believe they use very small batches, so like five barrel batches, and aged 6 to 7 years. And it's about half the price of the John J. Bowman. So honestly, this, I think, in my opinion, is a great alternative to like your regular Buffalo Trace. Just like as an everyday sipper, it's a killer. The value is huge on this thing. But so right away I get some vanilla on the nose and a little bit of cinnamon, which is kind of weird because I don't usually get cinnamon from this bottle. You know what might be fun? Let's compare it to the regular Buffalo Trace and see how it does. Both obviously begin their life at Buffalo Trace. The Bowman is shipped to Virginia, where it is redistilled a third time, and then it is aged in Virginia, whereas obviously the Buffalo Trace is distilled twice in Kentucky and aged in Kentucky. So there you go. But I have to say, the noses are similar. So the Bowman I'm getting, it's a little more like vanilla and honey and a little bit of cinnamon, whereas the Buffalo Trace is a little bit fruitier. There's like some apple and grape in there, along with some vanilla and toffee that you typically get. Cherry, apple, grape. It's a very fruity nose. All right, let's get into the Bowman. Yeah, so you get a big dose of sweetness on the front of the tongue. It is mostly vanilla, maybe like some cookie in there too, like a vanilla cookie, and a little bit of cinnamon on the finish, along with some oak. It's a very nice, well-rounded bourbon. I have to say, I like it. All right, I should pause right here and say that I have done this comparison before, and these came across very similar. Today I'm getting a lot more differences than I did the last time. And it could be because this bottle has had a little bit of time to open up since the last time I poured it. Obviously the bottle of Buffalo Trace it's about half gone, so that's had more time to open up over time. Yeah, the nose for the Buffalo Trace really jumps out of the glass. It is really, it just smacks you in the face with fruit and with caramel and with vanilla. Man, it just, it really jumps out. Also very sweet. I think it has a slightly better mouthfeel than the Bowman Brothers. So yeah, it's almost just like drinking vanilla ice cream. Really creamy, really vanilla. So going back to the Bowman Brothers, after the Buffalo Trace, you can kind of find some of those fruitier notes that I was getting from the Buffalo Trace. They're in there. They're just a bit deeper. The Bowman Brothers definitely has a little bit more spice to it, whereas the Buffalo Trace is just a little doesn't have spice. Does not have spice. It's just really vanilla and caramel. Those are the main flavors you get on the palate. Maybe some cherry. It's not as fruity on the palate as it is on the nose. Yeah, I mean, there is a sweet cherry on the palate. That apple, that kind of grape note that I was getting, neither of those really come through. Mostly just caramel, vanilla, and cherry, I would say. So the palates are pretty similar. The nose is a little bit more different than the palate, and the noses are even similar. The only difference really, you get more of the spice in the Bowman Brothers, and less of the fruit on the nose. On the palate, there is a little bit of spice that you're not really getting from the Buffalo Trace, but you do kind of get that cherry, vanilla sweetness on the palate. And it's nice. It's not gonna blow your balls off, but I mean, it's nice. Both of them are nice. The finish, I would say, it's a solid finish. Medium, maybe medium to long. Yeah. Yeah, as this is getting lower in the glass, it's just kind of a caramel apple bomb. Man, it does smell amazing. Alright. So between these two, I do have to say, I think the Buffalo Trace is better. And I hate saying that. I was all pumped up to say that this Bowman Brothers is just as good as Buffalo Trace, and there's no reason to buy Buffalo Trace again. You could just go get this pretty much anywhere. No reason to hunt down a bottle of Buffalo Trace. The Buffalo Trace, in my opinion, I think the reason people like them so much is not because they're so complex and they have so many great flavors. They don't have any rough edges. Like, they're all really easy to drink. There's not anything about them that turns you off. They don't have a lot of flaws. They're just super easy to sip. The mouthfeel is also great on the Buffalo Trace, and the finish is probably a little bit longer. But let's go back to the Bowman one more time. Alright, I will say, if you cannot get Buffalo Trace in your area, this is still a phenomenal alternative. I got this for like $26. I think normally it's like $32 or $33 in my area. It's very similar. If you like that Buffalo Trace flavor profile, it is there, 100%. The flavors just present a little bit differently, but it is Buffalo Trace distillate. I mean, it's just distilled a third time and aged in Virginia. And the weather here is pretty close to Kentucky. Yeah, I mean, there are fruity flavors in there. You just have to kind of look for them. There's a little bit of that caramel apple is definitely in there. Oh God. I didn't intend to do like a head-to-head video. I was just gonna rate these. I was gonna give it a score. The Bowman Brothers. So let's do that. Why don't we give let's give Buffalo Trace a score first, and then we'll give Bowman a score. I'm debating whether I should give this a 7.1 and this 7, or 7.0, 6.9, 6.9, 6.8. These are like 0.1 apart in my opinion. They're very similar flavor profiles, obviously both from Buffalo Trace originally. I've got a kid around the corner who's making noise, and I'm going to hit him with my shoe as soon as he gets close enough. All right, so yeah, let's give the Buffalo Trace a 7.1 and 7.1, and the Bowman Brothers, let's give it a 7.0. Both excellent bourbons, super easy to find, harder to find, both very good. 90 proof. I mean, neither one is going to blow your balls off, honestly. But they're both good. Alright, I don't know what else to say. Later, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do whatever you do. Peace.